presentation. So, my honor to begin with this session by the traditional annual report. I have no financial or disclosure statement to mention. The aims of this report are at least twofold. I will try to shed light on what's happened on year 2018 in the ESTS database. So I will try to provide an epidemiologic overview of thoracic surgical activity in Europe during that year. And I will try also to show you how to establish best practice benchmarks. This slide just to remind what is the ESTS database. It was founded in 2001. The participation has always been free and will remain free and voluntary. The current online version was launched in July 2007. It is currently running on a K-data platform with all the mandatory security and backups. It is in perfect compliance with the new European regulation. We collaborate with on individual, on department, with department on an individual or department basis, but also since a few years, we develop strong collaboration with national registries. The first one was the French one with Epithor in 2001, and now then in 2014 we developed a collaboration at the national level with the Hungary. We also collaborate with the ESTS. We have a strong collaboration, and as well as the Brazilian Society of Thoracic Surgery. Our database is composed of a core data set of lung cancer. It is our main activity. It represents roughly 80% of our data. And around that, we have 4 functioning satellite databases: the thymoma, led by Enrico Ruffini, the mesothelioma databases, led by Andrea Bile, the chest wall, led by José Ribas, and the NET, led by Pierluigi Filoso. We will soon launch a new registry, which is the tracheal air registry, after the Dublin meeting, or at next fall it will be functioning. This year is a little bit special because it's the 10th edition of the Silver Book. Something wrong, sorry, no Silver Book, but that's the 10th edition. You can download a short version of the Silver Book on your app, and if you are a member, you can download the full version of the Silver Book on the ESTS website. The short version only mention the core data set, lung cancer data set. The full version mention everything. There is a problem with the data. Sorry. You can imagine that you have a figure with the data. In 2019, we enter in a very, very mature phase. We have plus 15% of data, and it's stable since last year, and it's stable since 2 or 3 years, meaning 20,000 more patients in each year. At the end of 2018, we have in our database 151,000 patients in. French input, Hungarian input. This means 120 lung rejections, 1,000 lung rejections. It is nearly 70,000 lobectomies. The structure of the Silver Book remains the same as last year. The first part is dedicated to the European cumulative activity since the online version in 2007. We have a particular focus to lung resection, which is our main activity, on types, diagnosis, distribution by site, the characteristic of the patients. At the end of the first part, I will present some, we present in the Silver Book the outcomes, and I will present a few of them. We compared two periods, the former period and the later period, on 30-day mortality and prolonged leak. It was supposed to have also a graph. So if I remember well, the proportion of lung resection this year, it was 3% more than last year, and the VATS as a proportion of all lung resection was about 30% in all. When you have a look at the VATS as a proportion of lobectomy in the latest period, the last 6 years, it represents 40% of all the lobectomy, of all the lobectomies done in the ESTS database. So it is a very important increase over the last period. Some custom plots. It is risk-adjusted expected minus observed mortality. And simply, what are these graphs showing? You see, I will try to, no, it does not work. You see that on the right, there is the blue line is increasing. This means that there is a quality improvement with a lower mortality. The corollary is that there is an increase in lives saved across the last 5 years in the ESTS database when looking at the procedures done by VATS. Same thing, when you look this time at the procedures not done by VATS, I mean the open procedures, you also have an increase in life saved. You see on the left that at one point the curve is decreasing. This only showed a shift toward VATS, with most difficult cases done by open procedures. At the time we all start the VATS programs. I mean around 7-10 years ago. Second part of the Silver Book, the unit-specific activity and comparative analysis between units. We decide to include in this analysis only European units, and also, that contributes to more than 150 lung resections over the last 3 years to be in perfect compliance with the ESTS accreditation program. So we compared, according to the distribution of patients, procedures, unadjusted, risk-adjusted outcomes rates. You will discover everything in the Silver Book. Simply a limitation, once again, there were 258 units across Europe that were functioning last year. Only 163 units contribute for more than 150 patients. So that's the one that were included. And among those units, 45% of them, they come from France. So it's, there is a risk of, it is very unbalanced, and there is a risk of bias. So I encourage any units, France for sure, but any other units from all other countries to contribute more to avoid the bias. What are the breaking news of this year? There have been a lot of news. First, what's going on? First, the ESTS thymic registry. It became the largest prospective thymic database in the world. thanks to the huge work of Enrico Ruffini. He had the idea of creating a minimum data set. And then, thanks to periodic reminders, the completeness of the ESTS thymic registry grows, and it is now up to 74%. This thymic registry will contribute to the third phase of the ICE-like staging project to revise the 9th TNM stage classification. There is also a study from the working group concerning early stage non-myasthenia gravis thymomas that has been recently accepted for presentation at the World Congress of Lung Cancer. The mesothelioma registry, concerning this registry, we signed a data share agreement with the ETOP, the European Thoracic Oncology Platform, in order to collaborate on an epidemiological study for mesothelioma. The chest wall, this year, it reached the milestone of 1,000 procedures. It is currently under large modification to be able to be more compatible with the CWIG data set. It will be separated in 3 distinct topics: deformity, trauma, and tumor. The purpose is to better fit the members' needs. The NET registry, it is one of the largest NETs registry worldwide. 65% of lobectomy, 57 typical carcinoid tumors in. And here also there is a great scientific validity because the data completeness is very high, 85%. The robotic pages, we will know more in a few minutes, thanks to Giulia Veronesi. It is now online for both lung and thymic procedures, ready for users. Upload. The UVIG, the Uniportal VATS Interest Group, they published already a Delphi consensus statement. It was a huge work, nicely done. They want to propose a baseline survey on database variables, what is needed. The idea is to perform the same as the MITIG, to identify a uniportal space within the ESTS database. Machine learning, we will know more in a few minutes. It is, in my mind, a strategic research field. And there you will see the Italian perspective, the Hungarian perspective, and I am sure it will be a very beneficial for the society to work on this topic. We have also collaboration with Sister Society. We will present the work, the ongoing work on N3A and N2 disease, but we have also new proposals with the Canadian Society on conversion rate and BMI. So to end with my talk, I'm a little bit late, sorry. What about quality? It's always important. We have the numbers, but are they useful? This is a slide on the Hawthorne effect, known also as the observer effect, where people, they act differently if they know they are being observed. It is not a story of Big Brother, but when you are in a database, I mean the ESTS database, the quality of your work is increasing. In other words, all the outcomes measured with what we develop within the ESTS database, the feedback programs, the benchmark, all kind of self-assessment capabilities, they are effective in improving surgical safety and finally patients' care. It provides a virtuous cycle of quality. So ESTS database, mature phase, it is still growing, plus 15% a year. In 2016, we reached the milestone of 1 100,000 patients, now 151,000 patients, but there are some large contributors that are still missing. The 30-day mortality of the entire database decreased by 2% along the study periods in 12 years. 45% are done of the procedures, lung procedures are done by VATS. And last but not least, there is a slow increase in data completeness, but it requires still a greater effort from all of us. Proposal, always the same, that the regions, president of national society, they should lead by the participation to the ESTS database. They could also encourage database participation at a national level and consider any other type of contribution. It could be an obligation for being eligible to be part of the ESTS Council. I thank you.